we are going to show you how to do a simple light circuit along with a heater. This is for everyone, PC, Xbox, PlayStation, the console players. This is going to get you started on a wipe, accumulating power, that all-important new resource for us on console, standard resource over on PC. But this is going to show you the basic tenets of how to set all of this up to get you familiar with electricity, the cabling, and some of these basic circuits here, just like this one, to get you familiar with the Farming 2.0 circuits that are going to be all important for us when farming does hit, but it is currently available for those of you on PC right now. So if you'd like to see the full video, if you're in a short, you can always tap in the lower right-hand corner or in the description or pinned comment to get the full video. And if you're here as a video, just stick around. Okay, so it doesn't really require a lot of stuff for this. If we go over some of this and it gets a little wild, just know that on the end screen and also right now, we'll put up the Rust Power Basics. I'll go ahead and link that now in the upper right-hand corner. It's just going to show you like the basic rundown of like the generators, the storage, batteries, and explanation, and also give you some very useful circuits at the very end. Okay, so here's what we're going to need for this circuit. It's quite useful. We've got the basic battery that has a maximum output of 150 Rust watt minutes maximum. We got the heater, which requires 3 units of power. We've got the root combiner, solar panels. You can do this with 1, but I'd recommend 2. Really, if you have 1, then you don't need the root combiner, but you will eventually. So it's good to just get 2 of these, and then also a root combiner, a switch, and then also your lights. Just know that lights also consume 2 per. And it's also worth noting that the heater and also the lights have a pass-through, which is extremely useful. Okay, and as a side note, if you can't find these bad boys, or you can't craft them because they do take tech trash, I get that, and they're 75 bucks a pop over at the Outpost, you can always buy a generator, and this has an output of 40 units of power, but it does take low grade, so keep that in mind. Or if you're super poor and you're solo, which is most of the time, just know that you can power these batteries here and then combine them as an output. You can see the output right here. And then you can combine them after the fact and then have a maximum output of 20 units of power because the Rust battery is only 10 units of power. Like I said, things can get a little heady, so just know you have some options here. But overall, the circuit isn't too bad. And again, I'm Jade Monkey. Be sure to drop that subscribe and like, and let's go ahead and do this circuit. Okay, so as a basic, just know I've got these solar panels on the rooftop, and I have the cables tucked away almost immediately under the solar panels. It's just a good rule of thumb if you're playing on a standard server because you don't want to give away where your battery's at or where it's aiming, and you want to tuck the cables away. You can't destroy the cables, but you can destroy the cables if you destroy the objects they're connected into, if that makes any sense. So if this gets popped, that means that cable's going to go away, and so on and so forth. So keep that in mind. So those pink cables that come from the rooftop are from the solar panels, both morning and afternoon, and then they're put into this root combiner down here, and then the power is combined, and if it's a good part of the day, hopefully we have something over 20, and then it goes into this battery here. Just know the maximum output you can stick into a car battery at one time is 40, and that's it. Anything beyond that's going to be a waste. Again, Rust Basics will help you with that math. Okay, so the way we typically do this, I'm just going to walk you through this, and then we'll actually set this up. It's super basic. I always stick a switch at the end here because it stops any kind of bleed. So if you look on the battery, the maximum or the active usage right now is 8, but when this is off, it's down to 0. So you've got no leakage, so you have just pure gains. That's going to be very important to you now, but also with Farming 2.0. And because of these handy-dandy heaters have a pass-through, you can stick the power that comes out of the switch, which does consume 1 unit of power. It's going to push it to the heater, and then the heater is going to pass the rest of the power, if it has enough, to the light, which is going to consume 2, and then this has a pass-through, and will pass the rest of the electricity to the other light. And again, very important for Farming 2.0, as you will need a constant light source. If you're in the winter biome, you will need a constant heat source for farming. But more importantly, if you're just living right now in Rust Console and we don't have farming yet, and you need to survive, the heater is also a good, it's your buddy. And I pipe this up to both the light and the heater because, let's be honest, if you're there, you need light, and also you would need heat if you're in the winter biome like out here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the basics over here. We've already got some solar panels here, not in the optimal position, but to just kind of show you root combiner to a battery. And then we'll throw up this switch here first to start. I almost always put a switch by a turret and also anything that comes out of your battery just to control the power that's happening. I'm a big fan. By the way, if you want to change the colors for us on the console version, just have the wire tool out and hold the reload button. We don't have all of these colors, but we have 4. We have red, green, blue, and I think yellow, and these extra ones here were added to the PC. So I like to separate them and see the marching ants when you have the cable on. It just kind of helps organize everything. Okay, so what was the first thing we did? We did the heater. So maybe we should put we'll put it right here because we're going to pass it through. And then we had, what did we have for the color over here? What did we pick? It was yellow? Orange. We'll do orange. So the power comes out of the switch, and again, switches use 1 unit of power when they're on. And then we'll place the lights up here on the top. We can put 1 or 2. We'll put a couple. We'll put 1 here, and then we'll put 1 on the end. Kind of simulate the whole thing. And that way, it's really good to have the switch because when you're out of the base, you're saving the power, you're accumulating more of said power. And then things that go to the light here, we're going to make green just to kind of separate things. And again, we're on the pass-through. And if you're not in a winter biome, you don't need the heater unless you are trying to warm up your crops. And you can see our output here goes to the light, and then we take the pass-through and then pass it onto the other light. And if you look at the battery now, we currently have 100, we've maxed out. We currently have 150 Rust watt minutes. Remember, the maximum output is 10, so if we turn the switch on, it should use 1 unit of power here. This will use 3, so that's 4 units of power. Then it goes here, and that'll be 6. And then it pushes out to the other light, which is another 2, which should be 8. So our maximum consumption of this circuit should be 8. And yes, you can split these off into splitters and then other switches to maintain the power in such a way, because honestly, if you have these materials, I always say get charging a battery almost immediately, because when it's full, you can pick it up, it maintains the charge, and you can stick it in a box. It's super useful for backups, for setting up emergency turrets when you need to. Believe me, it's a resource like fragments or sulfur. So if you see right here, we have the complete circuit on. And now if we follow over to the battery and see what the consumption is, let me put it on the darker part there. Our maximum charge during the day, or if this was nighttime, we'd have 18 minutes of runtime. We're using 8 out of the 10 maximum output, and our capacity right now is 148 Rust watt minutes out of 150. It's not really dropping that fast because we're also accumulating power during the day. So yes, this is, it wasn't too bad, right? This is the simple power, or simple power. This is a simple power. This is a simple light and heater setup for everybody, PC and Rust Console Edition. And yes, the power surge that's coming for us on the console side is mad exciting. It is out on PTB. It should be out for us soon enough over on the console side, or main branch on console side. And again, if you want to know about the Rust Power Basics, we'll go ahead and throw it up on the end screen now. We'll see you guys in the next one. Be sure to drop a like and a subscribe. It helps out a lot.